Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another review. And this time it's the Mandalorian Season 2, Episodes 10, The Passenger. Woo! Wow, it's already been a week since the last one. Time flies quick these days. So how was it overall? Eh. And I'll get to that why. Not because there's aesthetically anything wrong with the episode. It's just the way the overall impact of the episode ends up being. It just feels very unnecessary. So let's get to it. So we basically start right where the last episode ends. The Mandalorian, he just finished off the dragon. He got his tribes, one of the tribes armor back. He's on his way back to his ship. On the way, he basically get bamboozled with some guys who are trying to like steal off of him. And there's this amazing scene with like his jetpack and quick smirk with Baby Yoda. It's a hilarious scene, good fight scene, good start to the episode. And then, you're really into it. At that point when that fight happens, you're really into it. You really are on that, like, okay, he's going to leave the planet, and then, the journey starts. I was just talking about that they really wanted to start the season in the last episode. If you've or watched my review, it was about really like, didn't start really high. It was more like, okay, a subtle start to the season where like every episode I was wishing like, or I was thinking they're going to go, step closer to like really the top notch shit. It's gonna step by step instead of like starting really high and then going downwards. They started like a bit on the lower side and then slowly they'll amp up the heat. So I was really waiting for it. I was like, okay, good fight scene, good start, and let's do this. So next up, there's a scene. They're like, okay, I want to leave the planet, and the woman basically tells him that there's a passenger that needs help, and she actually knows where the Mandalorians are, and but she's in need to get to a planet. She has basically eggs. It's a frog-like creature, this species, and it's the last of them, and these eggs are very much needed to be on this certain planet where they can survive, and it's the last of their lineage, so it's very important, right? So they made that point that this thing is very important to her. So that's another problem in this episode. I'll get to it. And yeah, then we're on the journey, and basically they can't go light speed. It's certain thing about it that can hurt the eggs, so they can't go. So they have to kind of travel normal. So when they're doing that on their way, basically Baby Yoda really is hungry in this episode and really gets the feel for those eggs. So, he tries to sneak around. He steals an egg. Yep, he literally steals off one of the baby eggs. Eat him. Then steals off another one sometime. Eat him. He steals a third. Eat him. And this also becomes a problem later on in the episode. So, at that point, I was like, I don't know if that kind of humor works in this episode. It's one thing that this episode is filler enough. It really is a filler episode. And then there's like, okay, it's something serious. That's the other problem with this episode aesthetically. As I said, it's something very serious to this woman, to this passenger. And it's not that Mandalorian did not catch Baby Yoda. There's actually a few times he actually catches him doing that, and it's like stops him. But I think there should have been a more severe impact to that, where they should have locked that case somewhere safe or locked it up so Baby Yoda can't open it. Because, yeah, he eats those eggs and it's like, it kind of like just graced over. And it's like, these eggs are very important to this person. Like, am I supposed to care for these eggs or not? It's a very confusing thing in this episode. I did not like that. Anyway, so they're on their way, and hey, there's some X-Wings, and they basically, ask them a few questions, and basically X-Wings that are, monitoring that area that they're passing by. So they ask him a few questions, and he answers. He's trying to be as secret as he can be, but eventually he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna try to whip out of here. And there's a chase sequence. This chase sequence is beautiful. Especially in this episode, I think the CGI is actually amped up. It's amazing looking. This episode was amazing. The creatures, the special effects, the flight scene, the flight battle. It's not really a battle. It's more like a chase sequence, but it definitely had a feel of a battle, and they did it. It definitely felt like, you would put this scene in a movie. So it's definitely high production values showing in this episode. Definitely. On that part, you can't go wrong. The CGI looked amazing. So basically, in trying to hide from the X-Wings, he crashes on this planet. It's an ice planet, and his ship gets wrecked. And there's another fault here too coming up. Ship gets wrecked, and basically they have to, kind of stay the night. And he doesn't want to do the mission anymore. This responsibility that he took, this toad lady, frog lady, he doesn't want to do that anymore. And she basically says him a good line. She's like, I thought the Mandalorians stood by their word. And then he's like, you know what? Yeah, kind of right. He doesn't say that, but you kind of feel that, okay, this woman's right. These Mandalorians, they stay with their code. You can't just abandon the mission. So he's like, okay, let's fix up the ship. Anyways, this ship is beaten up. Okay? It's beaten up. And he starts fixing the ship eventually, and Baby Yoda appears, and it's like, okay, the Toad Lady just disappeared. And that was kind of weird from the angle that he was fixing. I just didn't understand at that point, how could he miss her leaving the ship? It was like, what is going on? It was just, okay, but you just kind of braced over it, just like, okay, whatever. Small nitpick, nothing to destroy the episode or anything like that. So it was a very small nitpick, but you notice it. And so he goes inside the ship, she's not there. She's basically having a swim. There's this nearby pool, whatever, and she's having fun with her baby eggs and all and everything. And there's this scene that happens, and this scene is actually amazing. It also is kind of annoying at the same time too, because Baby Yoda sees that there are a lot of these eggs around. And man, this scene was alien vibe. Alien vibe. You know what they do with aliens? They're like, man, are you stupid? Don't do that. That kind of movement where they touch those eggs. If you've seen any of the alien movies, you know what I'm talking about. So there's this scene. He basically opens his egg and he takes something out and he eats it. Okay. Then he looks around and all these eggs are starting to move. And at that point, actually, you don't really know if it's egg. I actually thought there was some kind of ice planet plants or something. Because when he opens it up, when he takes whatever it out, it's like, okay, it's probably this, dead veins or something, flower stuff. It looked gross with the liquid and all. He takes it, puts it in his mouth. You really don't know what's going on, what this thing is. But then they start to hatch and you're like, oh, that's an alien reference right there. And oh my god, this scene was it was kind of disgusting, and this creature actually looks horrifying. They're spiders. It's a spider layer. It's like this ice spider layer, and they're pretty cool actually. And then bigger spiders start to appear, and then this mama spider starts to appear. And it's called back to actually the alien sequence and the sequence from, I believe it was the Chamber of Secrets from Harry Potter. That sequence where Harry and Ron, they go to that spider lair and they start to attack them. That it was these alien and that sequence combined. It was literally that. So anyway, so they get back to the ship, and then they're like, let's just wing it. And I'm like, how though? You were repairing the front of the ship, and the back there's a hole in the damn ship. How are you gonna run? But all of a sudden, I guess he fixed it. at some point, but it's not properly. That's also a nitpick I had. Another one that actually is a negative, that the ship, they were just trying to flying it, and okay, it's flyable all of a sudden. They really didn't show the time frame of him fixing it, and really there's not that much time passed that he could have fixed whatever it needed to be fixed. So anyways, all of a sudden, we're about to leave, and this mama spider like just jumps on the damn ship, and we're like, no bitch, you ain't going nowhere. And she basically crashes the window and all of a sudden these X-Wings appear. And they help the Mandalorian out, and then for some reason they let him go. They're like, okay, we've heard that you did this bad, but they're also, you actually helped these few people, so we're gonna let you go. And then he's like, actually, can you help me, repair the ship and, get me off this planet? They're like, no, we just helped you. We're just gonna kill the spider, and that's it. And they just leave. It's like, that point, why you're helping him, but at the same time you're not actually helping him leave, though. You're still, the ship's wrecked, it might not be able to fly anymore, and you just left. Could have just helped him fix it or something, or give it enough power for it to like leave the. So that also was another negative. It was just a moment where I thought it would be like he would actually be able to either defeat the spider himself, or whoever saved him, it might be like a big surprise. But that whole sequence then did not making sense. Them helping him, but in the end they're not really helping him. So at least to me, it did not make sense. So then after it's banged up even more because of the spider jumping on, and the spider's all dead, so that weight of the spider is still on it. All of a sudden he's like, okay, let's wing it again. Ship flies off. And he's like, okay, ship's gonna have a really rough ride, and let's everybody strap in. I'm going to sleep. That he tells his toad lady to also take it easy, and episode ends right there. But just before the episode ends, you also see Baby Yoda eating another egg. He probably, I guess, took one without her knowing, and he just like whoop, and it's like, it's supposed to be a hilarious moment, but to me it was not. Now, as I said, it just ended abruptly. At that point, you're like, okay, it's about to leave, and I didn't check the time, how much of the episode was left. So at that point, it was not in my mind that it's like 5 minutes left or something. So I was like, okay, so they're gonna get to the planet, something's about to happen, but the episode just ended, and right there it hit me. Right there, I was like, what the hell was the point of this episode? Look, again, the production values are great. The Mandalorian, the character itself, still intact. They're not trying to change anything. It's still a Mandalorian show. It feels like it. It started strong. The episode starts strong. The episode has some good sequences. But overall, especially with the ending and some of the plot points, just do not go well together. One, as I said, you're supposed to take care for these eggs because it's the thing he's carrying. Like, you want to stay true to your word. You're not just taking that passenger to where that passenger needs to be, but that passenger has something that she cares for, and you're kind of like, I feel like that would be part of the job. You like actually take care of those things, or these eggs in this case. And it's used as a humor, but then you're like, okay, why should I care then? Right? If the episode is telling me that, oh, it's important, but we're also going to make it a humor thing, we're going to make it funny, then you kind of get out of it. You really don't feel the importance of what's going on. So that's a huge negative. Second, as I said, that them leaving him like that, the X-Wing soldiers, the New Republic soldiers, you're like, okay, then you saved him, but then you really didn't save him because you don't know if the ship's actually fixed. What if you leave and the ship doesn't work? He's done for. And then the episode ends just like that, and you're like, what happened? what did we learn? At the end, even if you want to disregard all the other plot points, at the end of the day, what did you learn? Was the episode enjoyable as a filler? Yes, but it was just enjoyable. That was it. If you start thinking about it, it was not a well-written story because the elements that are presented in this are not taken seriously. You feel me? Like all these plot points that you actually need to take care about or you want the audience to care about, they're not taken seriously. And then the abrupt ending all of a sudden without you actually learning anything new or any new plot point being introduced, or like this cliffhanger ending. At least the first episode had that ending. You're like, whoa. And then I actually just recently learned that's actually Boba Fett. I did not recognize him when I actually watched the first episode, but that was now it raises the stake even more when you're watching this episode. So it's like, come on. So, at the end of the day, I would rate this episode a 5 out of 10. It was just enjoyable. It was just average in that sense that, you can watch it, you can have fun with it. But once you start thinking about it, once you start thinking about the importance of what this episode means, and especially after season 1 ending, the way it ended, and the way the season 2 episode, the first one, started, you really expected this one to be a bit higher than the first episode, something more, higher stakes, something more. So in this case, I do think the way the season 1 episodes were going at this point, even though we're only 2 episodes in, it was better. Some of the introductions, the characters, the way the story was going was better because the way they went here was like they started a bit up, as I said, in season 2. They didn't really start really high. They were like, okay, we're going to start right in the middle somewhere. And then I was thinking then they're going to slowly amp it up. But then they really like jump down. And then this episode really doesn't tell you nothing about nothing. Even the plot point, as I said, that was supposed to be important ends up being not important. So what was this for? If I'm wrong, which probably a lot of people who love this show probably going to be bad at me, you're more than welcome to let me know in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong, or maybe I missed something that I was supposed to look for in the background or something, or maybe I missed the Easter egg, that if I did watch, maybe I could have understand the episode better. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, and also let me know how actually you thought of the episode overall. Even if you did not want to explain any Easter eggs or anything like that, just let me know in the comments what you thought about this episode. So yeah, there is my review for this week's episode of The Mandalorian. And yeah, with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching and thanks for all the support on the channel. And with that, take care and I will catch you all soon. Until then, ta-ta.